So now from this lecture onwards, we're going to start with the CSS part of the project, which is the text to voice application. So for that, we need to use the style.css file. Inside of this particular style.css file, the first element is going to be the universal selector, in which we are going to set the margin to 0, then padding to 0, and then I need to specify the box sizing to border box. That will basically reset the default styling of the browser. And after that, I will be here selecting the body selector. Instead of the body selector, the first thing is I will be changing the font to sans serif 1. Then you can see the font of the entire project is actually changed, and then I need to define the background. So here I will be using the dark background, so it is like 3 times 3 inside the hash character. Means after the hash symbol, I here specified the 3, and then will give us this dark gray color. And after that, I will be here using the container. That is the main thing. Inside of that, we have all the 3 HTML elements. So this is our container, and you can see we have all of the 3 elements are inside this particular div container. So after that, inside the container, we need to first set the width to 50%. And then we need to actually align this, means actually take that particular container to the center of the screen. So for that, here I will be using some properties. So the first thing is going to be the margin. So from top and bottom, it's going to be 0, and from left and right, it is going to be auto. If I control save it, then you can see the content is little shifted to the center inside the browser. Alright, and after that, I will be here using the position to actually absolute. So you can see now it's actually again shifted to the default position. Alright, and after that, I will be here specifying the top property to actually 50%. And then the left property is actually going to be 50%. Control save it, and you can see the container is actually shifted to the center. And then it is not exactly at the center of the screen. Again, I need to here add one more property, which is actually a transform property, and I will be here using the translate minus 50%, and then again I will be here using the minus 50%. Now if I control save it, now you can see it's actually perfectly placed at the center. Alright, minus 50% and minus 50%. And after that, I will be here using the box shadow property. So box shadow, so here I need to use the padding, not box shadow. So it is like padding. So padding is going to be like 50 pixel. So you can see now it's actually again shifted, and then I will be here using the background property. So for applying the background, I will be here using the linear gradient function. The first thing is going to be like 120 degree, and then I need to specify the F6D365, and then again I need to provide here another color, which is FDA085. Control save it. Now you can see we have added the gradient effect to this particular container. So you can see we have this kind of container that is actually at the center of the browser screen. Alright, so this is what we have expected. So instead of using the flex properties, I have used here this property to actually style the code. So here I'm going to click on view and word wrap so that you can see everything more clearly and inside this particular window of the Visual Studio Code. Alright, so coming back to the style.css, so after applying the code to the container, the next thing is I need to add some more properties inside this container element, means the container selector, not element. So after adding the background, it's time to add the border radius so that we get the rounded corners. So here I have added a border radius 10 pixel, and after that I will be using the overflow to actually hidden. Alright, and now it's time to add a code to the h1 element. So under the container, we have the h1 element. So here first I'm going to set the text alignment to center, and then the font size is going to be 36 pixel, and then I will be applying the margin bottom property, which is going to be 20 pixel, and then I need to add a color. So again I will be here using the dark gray color. So I need to specify the hash symbol and then 3 times 3. Control save it, then you can see the style to the h1 element is actually applied. And after that I will be again here using the container. Now at this point of time I'm going to select the text. So this particular text is actually the class name for the text area. If you see it here, we have specified a class text to this particular text area. Now coming back to the style.css again, I'm going to start the body of this particular selector, and instead of that First, I'm going to set the width to actually 100%. And then I need to specify the height, which is going to be like 120 pixel. And then I need to specify the text alignment property so that we can align the text to the center. You can see now finally we have added the bold effect to the text area. And now it's time to add the margin bottom property, because right now the button and the text area is very close to each other. There is very less space between them. So for that we need to add the margin bottom property. So it's going to be like 20 pixel. And now I'm going to apply the font weight, which is going to be 700, which will basically increase the font weight of the container element, which is the text area. And then I need to specify the line height, which is going to be 30 pixel. This is just to actually make the text formatting better, means the text look better by using these formatting properties. And then I will be also specifying the letter spacing, which is going to be 1 pixel. So if I enter here something like, so you can see now the text will look more crisp and better. After letter spacing, it's time to apply the border radius so that we get the rounded corners. So again, I will be here using the 10 pixel border radius. And then I will be here using the box shadow property, which is my favorite property. So it is like 0, 0, then 10 pixel, and then I will be here using the RGB. So for red, we need to specify 0, then green is 0, blue is 0, and the alpha is going to be like 0.1. So now we have added a box shadow to this particular text area. And after that, I will be adding the another property, which is going to be padding. So padding is going to be 20 pixel, not 30 pixel, it's going to be 20 pixel. So now we have increased the padding to our text area. And after that, I will be adding the border property. So border is going to be like 1 pixel, solid border. And then the color of the border is going to be like hashtag 3 times 3, means hash symbol 3 times 3. So we have added a border to the text area. And after that, I will be adding here one more property, which is going to be like background color. So background color is going to be like ghost white. So you can see the little effect of the background color. And after that, for avoiding the resizing of the text area, we need to here use the resize property to actually none. Control save it, and now if I refresh it, so now you can see we can't actually resize our text area. Alright, so now we have successfully added the code for the text area. It's time to actually modify the CSS code of this particular button. So here, coming back to the CSS again, so here again I'm going to select the container. Then at this point of time, I'm going to select the button, because we want to modify the content of the button. And also I'm going to copy this one and pasting it one more time. And here I will be specifying the pseudo class hover. So hover, and inside of that I will be using the background color, then hash symbol, then 45A049. Control save it. So on hover, we are going to change the color of the button. Now it's time to modify the content of the button. So the first thing is we need to specify the width. So width is going to be 100%. Then I will be specifying the height, which is going to be like 50 pixel. And then I'm going to specify the border, which is going to be none. And after that, I will be specifying the border radius. So border radius is going to be like 10 pixel. And then I will be specifying the background color, which is like 4CAF50. F50. If I control save it, so you can see now we have the hover effect to the button. Also, we need to modify the color of the font of the button. So color is going to be like white, that is this one. And then I need to specify the font weight. So font weight is going to be like 700. And then I will be using the cursor, which is going to be pointer. And then I will be applying the font size to increase the size of the font. And after that, I need to apply the transition property. So there is a smooth transition between the hover effect of the button. So this will be applied to the background color. And then I need to specify the time duration for the background color button. So 0.3s, then ease in out. Control save it. So now you can see we have finally added this all CSS code to the application, which is the text to voice. So you can see now it looks like the final version of the application. Right, there's a little modifications, but it's exactly the same to the final version of the application. Right, so now finally we have done the CSS part of the application. So in the next part, we're going to start with the JavaScript part of the project.